Crazy4Cactus is back on the show.
Back in action, sir.
Thank you so much for being willing to come back on. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, the sequel, right?
Right. Yes. Round
I
2
don't know though. Sequels a lot of times they don't
aren't as good as the first.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to work. We're gonna have to work hard here to keep these folks entertained.
We'll see. I mean, I know personally myself, I'm in a better place than I was when we did that episode. When was that? Back in March, right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of life has happened since then, man.
It has.
Lots of growing and stuff.
Always, man.
Growing of plants too. What have you been up to?
I started a new job about
awesome.
4.5 months ago.
Okay.
So I did kind of an interim opportunity with some Google consulting company, and the last almost 5 months I've been with a large retailer that I joined, and I've been having an amazing time. It's a fantastic organization. I got a really great team, and still working from home, which is cool.
Wonderful.
But the corporate office is in Emeryville, so up north near San Francisco.
Okay.
So I'm doing like a once a month trip up there, which is I haven't been traveling much at all. And so it was I traveled a couple of weeks back for the first time on an airplane in almost 2 years.
How was that?
So it was cool. It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I flew with a buddy. We flew out of Orange County, but it's like this offshoot JSX, like these kind of private charter jet thingies, like through JetBlue. And it was like the most painless experience I've ever had of flying. Like we showed up and easy getting on and off, and we Ubered to the office. It was super cool. So
not a lot of people flying.
It wasn't even that small plane. It wasn't full.
Cool. Very cool.
But I was talking to my wife, and she's saying, hey, one of these times you should fly up and then drive back, and I could hit all those cool plant places, Poots and all these, these epic places that are up in that area.
Yeah.
Kind of take my time and, that 7-8 hour drive back, see some friends and check out some places and load the car up,
Speaking of Navarro, we were just speaking of him a moment ago. I know he's up in that area as well, right?
He's in Castroville.
Yeah. Let's go there.
I think a year or two ago, maybe longer, I took my family. We drove from Orange County all the way to Colorado and back. And then we did another trip up north. And when we were up north, we, I kind of Googled, and I was like, I'd never met Manuel. And I said, man, we're like 30 minutes from him. We've got to drop by this guy. Yeah. And so I dropped in, and, he was arguably cooler in person than he was, than he was, on the phone, or on the, Instagram. But he was a really great guy. Great stuff too. Amazing nursery.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fascinating man with a very interesting view of the world, for sure.
Definitely. Yeah.
But even his content is great for sure too. Keeps it interesting.
It does. Yeah.
I was going to ask you about hotspots, because you were just talking about these, for example, Poots and Navarros. What are some other hotspots that you could recommend to maybe some newer folks in the community or looking to explore?
I think, I'll start kind of in Orange County where I'm based. I mean, you've got the great nurseries like, Green Touch, and you've got Mescala, and you've got Garibaldo's. Those are always my 3 staples.
Of course.
You certainly got Desert Creations, down in LA. For me, I'm hitting up San Diego a lot. I try to get out there like once a month, because there's just, the concentration of great places. I mean, you've got, growers like Peter W. and Petra, Stephen Dewey are out there. But then you got, C&J Nursery, you got Botanic Wonders, you've got Grigsby's, you can hit Solana Succulents on the way back, hidden agaves out there. It's so, in a day you can hit, 3-4 places. You got Rancho Soledad, who's got some, ridiculous agave plants. There's just a bunch of them. So, that San Diego for me is like, I really enjoy that trip.
I'm going to listen back to that, because my girlfriend's from San Diego, and I'm down there all the time, but I haven't hit any of those spots, any San Diego spots.
Yeah.
Really. And I know Fallbrook is like jump in with
Fallbrook. Yeah.
Succulents,
so you got,
right?
You got Rojas succulents out in Fallbrook. You've got, who else is out in Fallbrook? Actually, I went to Oasis Gardens out in Riverside the other night. There's pockets of people everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my jazz these days is, where are the people, where are the places, right? And I've kind of leaned in heavily to photography. So
Hmm.
I love the plants is what brings everything together. That's the anchor. But for me, it's really been like I just love taking pictures of plants, right? Trying to find that perfect angle, that perfect plant, meeting the people and that sort of thing. And so, I'll go and just shoot 300-400 photos, and then I come back and jump in my bed and, kind of look through and, and I love putting that together and sharing the adventure.
Yeah, and providing a service truly to not only the community, but also the places that you're going to, like
Yeah.
showcasing them. I love
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
see it. You're pumping out photos.
Yeah, it's kind of my jazz, man. And I think we maybe talked about it last time, but the plants, I think like for this community, like the plants are really, you have to like plants. Like that's kind of the only your entry fee, right? You
Right.
just got to like plants. That's really it.
Hmm.
And for me, it kind of opened up a whole world of connecting or reconnecting to nature. I
Yeah.
remember I was chatting with a guy, Len, married to plants on Instagram, and we were chatting about you being plant blind. And I think
Hmm.
I don't know if you, but I think in the world we walk around and we just really don't notice or see. We've seen it for so long that you just really don't take notice. But I think if you fall in love with cactus, succulents, and that sort of thing, you're really looking at the details of the plants and you're appreciating them at a different level. And so for me, like going out there, I'm noticing everything else,
Right.
right? And so, it's one of those things where, it reconnected me to nature. But at the same time, there's other people that are doing this. And so I'm really building, friendships and community, and I'm plugged in with, you're in the same circle. Like there's so many awesome people. And so,
Absolutely.
building these friendships. And I kind of said before, like I've made more friends in the COVID lockdown in person, like relationships over COVID than I did the 5 years, previous combined,
Yeah.
right? And then kind of the last side of the triangle is really the art piece of it, right? That these plants are nature's art, and so I'm learning to appreciate them as a work of art. But at the same time, putting them in pots and staging and making them look, absolutely beautiful and perfect, and then taking a photograph and trying to get that angle and looking where's the sun and how can I get it to shine through these terminal spines on this agave and showcase, and then get that out and share that, right, as an appreciation for, what nature's created. So it's kind of like this circle for me. It's satiating a lot of different things. My connection with nature. I mean, I talked earlier about my job. I'm a computer. I'm a technical guy,
Hmm.
and so to get me outside of nature is very healing. And
Yeah.
then I'm building these relationships with like-minded people. Having a grand time, and then I'm tapped into this artistic side, which I didn't know that I had, but it's finding these plants and staging them and making them look awesome, and then the pictures and that whole thing and videos and whatever it is, right? And so it's been a very fulfilling hobby, and I
Yeah.
didn't really think that falling in love with an agave perii in the very beginning it would lead to what this is. But I guess when you're passionate about something, that sort of stuff is it surfaces, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can see the passion in your eyes for sure. I quoted you a handful of times. Anytime that we somehow found our way to plant blindness, I've mentioned that you brought that
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
before, and it stuck with me for sure.
What I
Because
think is funny though too is back in the day, all the nurseries that I mentioned, I've hit every one of those nurseries solely specifically looking for agave plants, right? And that's it. And now that I've been back over the course of a couple of years and my focus has changed, now I'm kind of like a equal opportunity guy. Like if it looks cool, I don't care what kind of plant it is, I'm interested. I'm likely gonna, buy it or seek it or take a picture of it. But I'll revisit these places that I've been to 2 and 3 times, and I'm like, man, I didn't realize they had euphorbias over here, or cactus over here, or this crazy section of echeverias or something, right? So
yeah,
it's I think there's different segments to the thing.
yeah, it's easy to overlook all these other beautiful plants when we're
Yeah,
so focused on cactus or succulents.
yeah.
But
But Jeremy Hidden Agave, he uses a hashtag, and I think I even mentioned it last time that there is no end to cool plants, right? There really isn't.
yeah,
I mean, no matter where you go, you always find something cool. There's always a variation or a new species or something. And I look on Instagram every day, and I'm like, what the hell is that?
yeah.
Yeah,
I really envy the guys like you that are out there, like actually going and doing stuff. I mean, you're out there. I see you. You're on the move constantly, and I probably make excuses to some extent, but also like I just don't have that opportunity, and I would love to get there for sure. Like when my kid gets a little older, I want to. I long for that for sure to like establish these more personal collection connections, and actually see all these cool places. I haven't seen the majority of them the
Yeah,
majority of them.
I think, I think the challenge or the goal is really balance, right? I know you got a young one. My
Yeah,
kids are a little older, 12 and 9.
yeah,
And I'd be lying to say that my life is completely balanced. That my spiritual and personal and professional and my hobbies, all balanced, and I'm satisfying each area.
right.
For me, you can obviously tell there's a lot of passion, but the passion is driven by, I think you're a lot alike, man. The obsessive type behaviors
Yeah.
that, if
Right.
one's good, then three's probably even better.
Hmm.
I use the tagline, anything worth doing is worth overdoing. And so, there is that tendency. So you say, man, that Crazy4Cactus, he's everywhere. Well, when you've got that, kind of, innate behavior, like that's driven me my whole life,
Hmm.
that kind of stuff is bound to happen. But, my wife is pretty awesome. And, I've known her for so many years. She checks me every now and again and, pulls me back. But
Time to come home, Kevin.
yeah, pretty much. You know, and I try to use the excuse sometimes, like, well, I asked if I could go, right? She's very accommodating, but it's like, there's family duties and responsibilities, and so sometimes, and I think it guys too, um, we're very like tunnel vision, like I'm on the mission, right? So I
Hmm.
get this idea, like I got to go see, somebody down. I got this plan, this thing, right? It's a mission oriented, man. I gotta complete the mission, right?
Yeah,
And so it's being aware of the other areas of your life, and you're trying your best to balance.
yeah,
I maybe make excuses sometimes, or try to justify that, it could be worse. I could be doing this hobby or this thing or whatever, but at the
yeah,
end of the day, you got to try to, balance life. It's a juggling act sometimes.
yeah. Well, I imagine that you're still very family oriented. You strike me as an excellent father. So,
Yeah, I
you
appreciate
know, yeah. I'm just yeah, I'm doing that with this, you know, the same thing. I've been just like diving into it head
that. Yeah,
first, and I'm kind of pumping the brakes a little bit. I'm gonna
yeah,
take a step back.
yeah. So kind of funny story about family. So my wife, Jennifer, known her since I was 15. So that's 31 years ago. So we've been, she's my ride or die. We've been,
Yeah.
riding for forever. But when we did the last podcast, I didn't catch it, but she took a drive with my oldest and they were listening to the podcast. And then I got a phone call like midstream, and they started busting my chops. They're like currently married. So I think somewhere in there, I said something like, yeah, I'm currently married. And so they were like, "You're currently married? Like, what options do you have?"
As opposed to,
Yeah. So I got to give a shout out to my wife.
that's right.
I don't want to sleep on the couch anymore. It's been months and months of that. But yeah, so it's pretty awesome. Her and I've been together, for geez, 14, 15 years marriage, and been riding together for 30 plus, and
That's awesome.
good deal. So yeah. But I think it's important, at least for me, to ensure that I'm giving them ammunition to bust my chops. Right. That's part of what I do.
Absolutely.
It's that and my driving skills. I drive like ridiculously slow.
Do
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm that guy that get on the freeway, get right behind that semi truck. Set the speed at 65 and a half miles an hour, and I'm good all the way to where we need to go. Right. Yeah.
Cruising.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you down to get into some questions?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious to
Awesome.
see what comes up. Hopefully there's
Cool.
some uncomfortable ones and some weird ones. And
All right. We got from Vic the Prick. He said, "What is your next dream plant since you have amazing ones already?"
my next dream plant, um, there's a really weird euphorbia I'm drawing a blank on the name, but it's actually on a T-shirt that Arid Lands has,
Hmm.
and I think they're hard to grow. Most of them I think are grafted, and it's a really funky one. So I'll have to figure out, I'll see if I can remember the name, but that would be a nice one. I'm looking for really funky euphorbias. I still got that itch big time.
Obscure.
Obscure. I mean,
Yeah.
if I've got a choice between, and like copia boas, right, for instance, are pretty hot right now. I think they're pretty cool. Or,
Uh-huh.
some awesome hybrid variegated, agave plant or some other thing. If there's a table of all these things, I'm still going to the euphorbia, right? If I got only a set amount of money, like I'm hitting the euphorbia first, I'm satiating that, and then, moving on. I'm
Yeah.
always, yeah, yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah, the Euphorbia. I'm still new to it. I gotta dive in. What is your
Yeah.
take? This is from Inland Cactus. What
Mm.
is your take on collecting and the dynamic of the Instagram relationship? What is your take on collecting and the dynamic of the Instagram relationship?
Yeah, I mean, I think social media in general is a tool, it's a vehicle for all kind of different things. I mean, you can use it for social, share your family pictures. I mean, I have a personal Instagram that I have like 27 followers, and it's just my
Hmm.
family, and so it's a forum for me to share my life in that way with, a certain set of people. It's, private account. But I think
Yeah.
on the Cactus account, for me, it's a way for me to share my love of plants. And
Hmm.
it started out, if you were to scroll, I mean, I think I posted like 3,500 pictures or something insane. But if you scroll all the way down to the beginning and you kind of start moving up, you'll see it's just plants, 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 and plants.
Hmm.
And Aaron Floritopia was the very first person that was in a picture with me and my face. Not that I was like, oh, I'm not going to show my face, but I just didn't really think of it. And then
Yeah.
he came over for my birthday and brought me a cactus. We traded and we got a picture together, and that was the first time. And so that really opened up the ability for me to not only showcase the plants, but start to build relationships over Instagram. It's like OG Agave. Like he and I were friends for like a year over Instagram before I first met the guy,
Yeah.
right? And then I use it like, I love going down to like Green Touch or Garibaldos or Mescala or wherever it's at, and doing a, hey, check out this awesome plant I picked up from at Garibaldos, or so it's a way
Right.
to kind of showcase different places. And so there's a million different applications for it.
Hmm.
For me, I made like a not a rule, but like a personal thing that I was going to be extremely transparent about where I'm at, what I'm doing, where I got the plant, how much I paid, where did I get it from. There really is no secrets for me.
Mm.
It's, I'm not a seller, I'm a collector.
Yeah.
uh, and so I'd like to share that information. I get a lot of messages from people that are out of country or out of state that just don't have access to these plants. I mean, we're blessed to be like, I mean, we're 30 minutes from places that have, 20 hoop houses with the most amazing things.
Yeah.
And so it's a way, for me to share that, that passion or those plants with folks that otherwise wouldn't. And then, for me, it's a way for me to, to leverage the photography. It's kind of a cool vehicle to, get nature out there. And I think there's all kind of people that, follow us. I think it's people that they like pretty pictures. Like that's really the extent of it,
Yeah.
or they like the adventure piece of it, or they like the story behind it, or maybe they're really a diehard cactus person, and they kind of just scroll through the other pictures, but when they see that spiky cactus thing, they really get engaged. you know
Yeah.
and I think there's a whole bunch of people that really are, that they really appreciate it, but they're just not the type to comment, and they just they appreciate it from afar, and they're not really about too much about engagement.
Right.
But I think
Yeah.
it's really the opportunities and the avenues are endless. It's just really personally, what is your intention for how it's used. It's, for me, it's really just about sharing. I share
Yeah.
everything, whatever you want to know, how, where I'm at, what I'm doing, who I'm with, where I get it, what the plan is. you know I share it all.
Yeah. It is interesting though how showing your face is like something, there's like almost something like taboo about it, or something that feels, off or something, I like hesitate to show my face. It's odd. I don't know why.
I feel that,
But
and I don't
all
know that I look
plants.
like against it, but I think once that picture of Aaron and me, I think it was one of those things where like, my average likes was like 100 or something, right? And then the one I
Mhm.
posted of Floritopia and me, like got like 350 or so, like a triple the number. And I was like, oh wow, okay. Apparently people,
Want to
like
see
this
you.
stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
And then the
Yeah.
other thing I noticed too was people like pictures of a leaves or of plants or spikes or something, or even a kind of a shot a little bit back of the plant in the pot. But what people seem to really like is like just weird pictures of stuff. Like I remember way back in the day, it was a picture of a giant barrel cactus in the back of my Prius.
Uh-huh.
And I remember that post got like 1,000 likes. And I thought it was like a weird, like, nah, there's got to be a glitch. But it was
Yeah.
like this weird story. Like, when the hell do you ever see a giant barrel cactus in the back of a Prius? It
Right.
was just, it's that odd kind of, you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I like to look at it as like a peering into somebody's life too. Like I get to get a little look into your life, and that's kind of what my intention here is to like, come out from behind the screen and for us to be able to communicate a little bit more personal, hear a little more personal side, of each
yeah,
other's stories.
yeah,
And it's been great, like getting to know all these different people and seeing just how much we're all alike, man. It's
yeah.
awesome.
Especially when you get to meet up,
Oh
you
yeah.
chat with these folks, and I don't do a whole lot of video chat. Me and
Yeah.
Cactus Quest, we talk so much junk and we have some good time in video chat, but for the most part, I'm not, super on video chat. So you only can get to know somebody so well over, a text chain or whatever. You meet these people in person, and
Yeah.
99 out of 100 times they blow my expectations out of the water. They're
Right.
so much cooler in person. And if I've friended them on chat, in real life, we're totally going to be friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd like to get a little more face to face on the show even too. I had Mikey the other day. It was awesome. We had a nice little dinner. It's a lot better having that connection and being able to like actually exchange energy with each other. Let me see what else I
yeah,
have here.
yeah.
I've got one from J Fords 011. Any recommendations on a shade structure?
Not really. And the reason being, for me, I don't use shade structure. So the way my
Kira.
backyard's situated is I get about 3 hours ish of morning sun, and
Uh-huh.
it hits my stainless steel tables, and it hits my little shelf I built, and then it hits my Euphorbia shelf. So I get some like really, really amazing morning sun, and then I
Mm,
get shade the rest of the afternoon. And
wow.
so, through the course of a year, nothing really gets burned. I don't get, a long, stretch of direct sun. Certain parts of my yard do, but at least where my collection is, or the good stuff, if you will, you know,
Mm,
yeah. But there's,
yeah.
there's guys out there that have done a really great job. Insane Succulents has
Mm-hmm.
some amazing. He's got a fantastic greenhouse, but he's got shade structures that he built for his Cyphostemas,
Mm-hmm.
and that's about as nice as it gets there. Selegna Sol, haven't been out there, but pictures I've seen, his greenhouse shade house stuff is epic.
Yeah.
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 So
Like
those are some of the guys I'd hit up.
for sure. For sure. Let's see what else we got here. We have Your Cacti Sucks. Edgar said, "What's on the top of your wish list plant?" We went there, but we weren't sure what the name was.
Yeah. You want to
What's
give me two
how about an
seconds and I'll grab.
alternative?
I can grab the shirt. We can figure out what it is.
Absolutely, why
All
not?
right. Give me 2 seconds. All right. So it is a Euphorbia Shizukantha. Let's see if I can.
Shizukantha.
It's got the two. There we go. Maybe.
Euphorbia Shizukantha.
Yeah, and it's on the front of this shirt that Arid Lands has. I bought it. It's a really interesting, weird euphorbia. So for those of you that are listening, do a Google on that thing. It's a pretty. It's like, it looks like almost like a weird tree-looking thing, but it's got stripes and colors and spikes, and like it's pretty amazing. I have honestly never even seen one in person. I've seen
Mm,
pictures, but yeah,
mm.
yeah.
And where do those come from?
Uh, Probably Madagascar.
Okay.
And then the shirt says, happiness is a state of euphorbia.
I like that.
I had to have, we were there and I'm like, hey, you got any more of them shirts? Yeah.
I'm a sucker for puns, dude, because I'm a dorky ass dad. I love dad puns.
Yep.
I
Yep.
follow all these pun pages on my regular page. All right. Selegna Soul. David said, tell us a funny plant story. Followed by, he wants to know what is the plant that still eludes you. And I think we know what it is.
Yeah. Euphorbia Shizukantha eludes me. I haven't even seen one. A funny plant story. Okay, this is a good one. So I think I might even mention it before. So I'm obviously quite extroverted, right?
Uh-huh.
My wife is introverted. And so, a perfect yin and yang, if you will.
Uh-huh.
And I will rope her into these excursions, right? And every time we go on these excursions, she always swears that she's never going to go on another one again. But it's like that mission I was talking about, right? So I see a post on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, certain plant available, and generally people are like giving stuff away or super cheap. And I'm in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I got a shovel and I got a truck and I'm the guy. And so there was a lady that had just moved into a house in Laguna Beach that had this big giant aloe tree, was probably 9 foot tall, and she wanted $40 for it. So I was like, oh my God, I'm all over this. So I messaged her. She said, yeah, come down and get it. So we drove my wife's GMC Denali down there and got out, went down this property, arguably multi-million-dollar house, views of the ocean. And on the back patio overlooked like this huge hills and all this stuff. And there was this big giant pot that had this aloe tree in it. And so, I brought like a dolly, like a blankets and stuff. And I'm looking at the thing and I'm like, there's freaking no way. We can't lift this thing. There's just no way. And so for like 4 seconds, I was thinking like, let's just bounce. And then I was like, you know what? I'm on a mission. Let's figure this out. And so I had the brilliant thought of, hey, what if I got a hammer and I broke the pot off of it, got all of the dirt off it? Like I think we can move the tree. And so I told this to my wife, and she's got that look on her face like, you're crazy. And so I asked the owner guy, I was like, hey, you got a hammer? And he goes, yeah. And so I told him, I said, I'm going to break this pot off. I'll clean it up, but I want to get all the dirt off so we get this out of here. He goes, sure. And so I start swinging this hammer, and my wife, in her mind, she sees like big giant shards of terracotta flying towards this 20 foot, sliding glass door, and then dirt everywhere. And so, I made a huge mess. Like it was really messy. And then we get this aloe tree and we start dragging it down like the side of the house, and it's dragging dirt from where we were all the way up these stairs, dragging the roots and dirt all the way. And we get it in her car and about 4 feet of the plant sticks out the back. Like we can't even get it in the car. And so we tie this thing down, and the aloe tree's hanging out the back. We clean up the yard. We jump back in the car, and I get in there and I go, oh my God, that was so awesome. I can't believe that. She looks at me, awesome. She goes, you are absolutely insane. I'm never going on one of these adventures with you ever again. And then as we were driving home, apparently somebody that follows me on Instagram saw me. I took a picture of it. And when I posted it, when I got home, they said, oh my God, I saw you on Laguna Canyon Road driving with that aloe out the back of your car. But there's been a million of those, digging out why yucca Spanish daggers from some guy's house in Corona. Just there's been a back in the day a giant agave Americana that are like, those are about as common as it gets. But I almost killed myself in Riverside one time digging one out of some guy's front yard. It was 95 degrees. Me and the owner, we couldn't even lift. It was so big, we couldn't even lift it in the back of the truck. I had to flag some dude down driving down the street and speak as little Spanish as I speak, and like, ayúdame, come on, to get this thing in the car, But it takes what it takes, man. A truck and a shovel. That's it.
Yeah. Sounds like you're not just crazy for cactus.
I'm just crazy in general. Yeah.
Well, that's a fun story, man. You're peeling like Facebook Marketplace and Offer Up and stuff, right? Like looking for
Yeah.
things like this, right?
Yeah, if you checked out my backyard, so I have, the backyard itself is fairly small. It's a concrete area, little grass, little fake grass, but then I got these big, huge hills. And so
Mm,
back in the day, it was like, I'll take anything, like agaves, whatever. And so, I mean, I probably got 40, agave attenuatas that have been, I've picked up, given to me. Like there was a lady that redid her yard and she had like 2 dozen attenuatas, said they're in her driveway, come by and pick them up. I went and
mm,
picked up every single one of them, put
mm,
them, put them on my hill. And so if you go down like the side of my house, same kind of thing. Like most of that stuff was either like really cheap, 20, 30, $40 for
yeah,
like big, big stuff,
yeah,
or it's free. If people saying, we want to get rid of the spiky stuff in our yard.
yeah.
So, I would troll the Offer Up, Let Go, Facebook, Craigslist, like last weekend or the weekend after before, some lady had a really, really nice big barrel cactus. I drove with my wife out to Corona, paid $25 for this thing, you know,
Mm,
put it in the
mm,
back of the truck. So they're out there.
for
They're
sure.
mostly common stuff, but if you're looking to redo your yard, you want a couple of big statement pieces, like it's out there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know people that have done that. So like landscape their whole property with just free stuff, free plants.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got here. So the plant that still eludes you. Tell me the name of it again. I'll never remember it.
Shizukantha.
Shizukantha. GT Nursery. Why are you so awesome?
Why am I so awesome? Um, because you guys allow me to be, I think that's, I try my best really to be authentic, and I've said it for a while that, I truly believe that if you met me in Target randomly, or you met me in an airport, or you met me at a cactus show, I'm the same guy. Like I'm not different here than I am on Instagram, or I am, at work. Like I'm the same guy at work. Like this is me,
Hmm.
you know. But what I think, Oscar Green Touch is recognizing is that the community itself is awesome.
Yes, it
And
is.
if you look across our population, we've got every shape, size, color, you name it. And what I
Mm-hmm.
found is that it really allows people to be authentic and be themselves. If you're willing to get vulnerable and take that leap, you know.
Mm,
And so, I've made friends with so many different people. And so, I think this community fosters awesomeness. Awesomeness, I
absolutely.
believe, is really a state of mind.
Mm,
And, we come from a similar background. I lived in darkness for quite some time,
mm,
and there was a point in time when I made that decision that I was no longer going to live in darkness. I wanted to lean into the light.
mm,
And so, I applied, the law of attraction, manifestation, and, determined that, what I focus on becomes a reality. And so I focus on success and being awesome and being kind and being loving and being whatever that is, you
yeah.
know? And so, for me, it's why am I awesome? Because that's truly what I try to focus on being as awesome as I can, being the best version of myself. And I think year over year, if you're constantly on that path, whatever the mind focuses on, the mind gets.
So would you argue that that darkness helps facilitate you becoming as awesome as possible, or having this more light driven life?
Yes, I mean, I think for me, it was absolutely necessary or
Mm,
critical.
mm-hmm.
We talked about Thich Nhat Hanh before, the
Mm-hmm.
Vietnamese Buddhist monk,
Briefly.
and he has a book and a saying. It's no mud, no lotus, right? And so if you've seen the lotus flower, it's a absolutely stunning, beautiful flower, but it
Mm,
grows in a pond in mud. And so what he's
mm,
basically saying is, without the mud, there's no lotus, right? And
right.
so I think conversely, without darkness, there can't be light. So it's that dichotomy of, whatever. And so for me, I understand what it means to live in negativity and darkness and, any kind of unsatisfactory, manner. And so, for me nowadays, I have zero tolerance for that. So
Mm-hmm.
I surround myself with positive people and positive energy. The music that I listen to is uplifting. The things that I read is uplifting. The self-talk, the conversations that I have, the
Mm,
people that I associate with, all that stuff. Um, you know, I believe truly that we are always consuming, and that consuming affects you.
Yeah.
if you, even at a subconscious level, that if
Mm,
even if you don't recognize, things consciously affecting your opinions and different things,
absolutely.
it all goes in there. It doesn't just
Hmm.
go away. You consume it, and it changes your physiology. I think it changes all that. And so I make a really concerted effort to only surround myself with, positive and positivity. But at the same time, I put that out. I really try really hard to put that out into the world, because I believe that what you put out there, you get back.
Mm.
You know,
Do you think that it's possible, given the right scenario or environment, that you could fall back into those older ways?
absolutely. I think that, Alcoholics Anonymous, if you're familiar with that at all, talks
Hmm.
about, um, my well-being is contingent upon a spiritual, the maintenance of a
Maintenance. Yeah.
spiritual program.
Yeah.
And so, whether you subscribe to that or not, I believe that, there's a lot of weird stuff going out there. And I think any of us can get sucked down any rabbit hole,
Yes.
any topic you want to talk. There's so much stuff. And
Yes.
so I think for me, it's around, protecting that, surrounding myself with spiritual principles, positivity, love, kindness, inclusion,
Yeah.
all that stuff. But I think, the minute that I put my guard down, I think I could get sucked down the political hole or the whatever hole.
Yeah.
I think it's not difficult.
The daily reprieve.
The daily reprieve,
Yeah.
contingent upon maintenance of a spiritual program.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly believe that for sure. It has to be one day at a time, and one bad decision away from, going right back to where it was or worse.
Yeah,
And I don't think that any of us are different. That we could all be that homeless guy on the street talking to himself. We
yeah,
all could be,
yeah.
given the right, environment and stressors, and you know.
Yeah. But I also really believe that we all are influencers in one way or another, whether we realize it or not. And I do subscribe to the your energy arrives long before you do. I think we all
Mm,
have the ability to change situations, um, even before words are spoken. The
mm,
tone and the way that you answer and the things that you do, and you know different things. And so it's for me, it's checking that am I bringing the right intention, am I bringing the right level of energy, excitement,
mm,
so it's preparing for that I realize that as just as a deep by default as a human being, I have the ability to influence others, my kids, my wife, my friends, community,
sure.
whatever it is. And what do I want to do with that power that I think we're all given? Is I
Yeah.
want to influence everybody, and I want to leave the situation better than it was when I found it.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah. And in
Uh,
return, I'm met tenfold in return. You know,
mm,
yeah.
mm,
So giving selfishly, getting, unselfishly.
mm. And what does this maintenance look like for you on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah. So I'm a big meditator. So I do, kind of default meditation on the breath. I think it's a kind of an easy anchor. Um, and then I read a lot of different spiritual literature. I'm still plugged into the Buddhist community. I get emails and articles and readings and different things.
Mm,
Um, I have a Friday morning group of men that I meet with called the Mastermind, and
mm,
it's six of us now. And essentially, what it is, it's a way for us to check in every single week. We get together from 6 to 8 a.m. on Friday, and we take our masks off, and we get elbow to elbow, knees to knees, and we get real about what's going on. And the purpose of the group is really the elevation of self worth, growing our lives, success. And so, having a vehicle like that where I can tell them 100% what's going on, not 75, or
mm,
not, tell somebody what I think they want to hear.
mm.
That group, has been ridiculously instrumental in kind of busting through uh, the barriers, the red zone kind of things, where self worth, limiting behaviors, limiting beliefs. We read the Science of Getting Rich, and there's different books that we read, and so I think that, and then, it's no secret I'm a member of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Hmm.
Been sober a long, long time.
Hmm.
So I do AA every week. I do this meeting with my guides every week, and then in between, there's meditation and breath work and readings, and you know, and then a smattering of plant type love and friendships and Instagram and nature,
Yeah.
and an outlet for me to put my energy into, because as we talked about, my obsessive type nature, I'm gonna find something to obsess on, and I've
Mm.
known that. But at this point in my life, I've realized that I can choose where I want to spend my time, and I've
Yeah.
turned that, what could be a negative, I've turned that into a positive. That I can choose to focus on a hobby, and choose to focus on how I want to expand my connections within Instagram, and how I want to use these things, and you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow, an intimate group there, 6 people.
yeah. We've been
Man,
doing it for, I don't know, 8 years, like
wow,
really, like every single week, and
wow,
we do check-ins, and it's like the reality is what's really going on,
very
right?
cool. I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, and I don't know that there's a lot of that out there. I think there's
Yeah,
this, we wear these masks, and we play these roles depending upon where we're at, this work role, and this, whatever role. And I
yeah,
think it's important to have a place, a safe place, with other men or women, have a safe place with other women, where
yeah.
they can, talk about what's really going on.
Yeah, that is something that I ran into with Alcoholics Anonymous is, I found myself wearing a mask.
Yeah,
And I do believe that many other people, tell you, like you said earlier, what you want to hear.
yeah.
It's harder to get vulnerable and to get real. And when you're in those smaller groups and you actually know those people, and yeah, you've developed these relationships. I mean, wow, that's got to be great.
Or my feeling is that at some point you've achieved some level of sobriety, or you've achieved some level of success or happiness, but you continue to judge your insides by other people's outsides.
Yeah,
And so you have this weird feeling like I should be this much further along, or I should
sure.
be there, right? And so I'm not going to tell you what's really going on, because I don't want to feel like what am I doing
Yeah,
wrong or different, right? And
yeah,
so that's kind of the whole point of this men's group, is like, we don't play that game. Like, it's,
right.
where are you at? you
Yeah,
know and the best thing is these guys all know me, and so body language, the way that I talk, the things that I say, they call bullshit, like, come
mm,
on, what happened, unpack it, we're not moving on, we're digging into this, tell us what's really going on, and then we work together to solve that problem.
mm,
I
yeah,
think it's critical.
mm. Yeah. I struggle with this inner critic. I call it my critic, and
Yeah,
he doesn't shut the fuck up.
yeah,
He's just always fucking tearing everything apart. He works harder than I do sometimes, man. And I've been
yeah.
trying to get to a point where I can like just like accept him and maybe utilize the positive aspects of it. But it can be really frustrating. I think that an outlet like that would be very useful. I've
You
honestly
have just
taken a step
one.
back,
You have one critic.
just one. Uh,
Yeah,
well, yeah, who knows? I don't know, but he's
I
fucking
got a
loud.
committee, bro. I got a committee. I got like 6, 8, 10 people like talking shit all day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think an outlet like that would be useful. I have some more questions. Let's see.
Yeah.
We got Cactus Dan Man. He said, when are you and Cactus Quest going to explore some more insane nurseries?
My answer would be like ASAP, like tomorrow, today.
He's about
Um,
to have a baby, isn't he?
he is, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like any day.
Yeah.
And so it's one of the things where, we've kind of put that on hold. I mean, that he is, Hunter, an amazing human being. We first went out to Anza Borrego and did some, just a quick kind of half-day trip. That's where we kind of got to know each other. And then I just remember, like, we drove to Arizona and back. It's like 7 hours. And then we drove to San Francisco and back area twice, 7 hours. And
Mm,
like the time goes by, like it's crazy. And so, there's nothing better than riding with somebody that you're like-minded with, that you have the same, our stories are very similar too. And, we like the same types of plants. And, and I always tell them, I go, man, we ought to just put that GoPro and just turn that sucker on. I mean, the shit we talk and the stuff we come up with on these trips, like B-roll, like crazy, crazy
mm,
stuff. So,
mm.
I'm hoping we schedule something soon, but Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah. Cool. He got one more. This is the final question. He said, "Have you went to Africa to see Euphorbia in habitat?"
I have not. I have not. But Insane Succulents, if you follow his account, you
Mm,
watch him, that dude posts some unreal pictures of, I mean, just amazing. And so it definitely would be on my list to go. I've got a couple places. Japan would be, so that's been on my list. Vietnam is on my list. Africa would be on my list. Those sort of things. But no, I got married in Costa Rica, which
mm,
was pretty awesome. And then my aunt and uncle live in Australia. Been there
mm.
twice. And then I putzed around Mexico a little bit. Other than that, that's kind of really it. I haven't really traveled outside of really California, Nevada, Arizona for any plant related stuff. But I think that, you know, definitely I'd love to.
What are you looking to see in Japan and in Thailand?
I mean, I'm big on culture. I'm big, the architecture is amazing,
For sure.
bonsai, Japanese maples, samurai, it's all the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think maybe in a past life, if you believe in that, I think I was born over there, have some descendants or something. I've just always been drawn. The movies that I still watch, Buddhism, my teacher, like it's all, there's just something about, I don't want to say the simplicity of it, but the perfection in what they do, the craft in their, it's just, yeah, there's just a lot there that I would love to go explore.
Yeah. Well, I do think there's some simplicity or like minimalistic
Yeah,
things to their culture, but like beautiful and simple.
yeah. I mean, in the quality, craftsmanship, everything from the architecture to the walls, the floors, the swords, the outfit, like everything is just, they. I think it's ikigai is a term that I read an article about the largest population of people that are over 100 years old is in Okinawa, Japan.
Wow.
And they thought it was partially because of diet. I think they eat a lot of fish, and there's a lot of reasons. But what they found really is they found that they believed it was related to ikigai, and it has to do with living your life's purpose. That
Mm,
there's a diagram that you can kind of try to mark up and figure out. What are you passionate about? What are you good at? What do you like doing? What can you make money at doing? There's kind of all these inputs that kind of produce an output of what is your role, right? And so I
mm,
think a lot of these people there, they're living their purpose, they're living their best life. And so I think
mm.
when you're living that, it just breeds a long life, low stress, you
Sure.
know. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely something mysterious about their culture as well. And
definitely.
they drink a lot of tea. I know that.
Yeah, yeah,
Right. Tea, rice, fish,
yeah.
for sure. Awesome, man. So what else you got going on? What do you got going on a day-to-day basis right now?
Working, I manage, like I said, a large retailer. I do infrastructure and operations. So it's kind of
Hmm.
polar opposite from plants and nature. And so, I'm hammering on, the computer all day and organizing, infrastructure related stuff. And then I spend time with the family, and
Yeah.
then, trying to fit in adventures, wherever I can.
Mm,
The cool thing is most of the time I'm out in the backyard messing around with my plants. And so, the family kind of knows, where they can find me.
right.
But, it's like I said, it's a balance between, spending time with the family and doing that sort of stuff and, taking care of myself, working all day, 8, 10 hours a day. There's got to be, I think, a personal release, a way for you to kind of decompress,
Yes.
and I really find that I get that with my plants. But, it's one of the things I got to be cognizant, careful of the obsessive piece that, that there's 3 people inside that are, waiting for me or that are, needing my attention. And so it's that's, the focus is on the balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel that same way with just the social media, to be honest. If I were to tell you my screen time sometimes, man, it's fucking embarrassing. And
Yeah.
it's like That's why I want to take a step back from the podcast a little bit and maybe just start really focusing on more in-person interviews more than anything, but and maybe not even promoting episodes as much. And
Yeah,
just like I really feel like it's become an issue. It's like getting in the way sometimes, man. And
I hear you on that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I've been kind of doing this. I mean, I post a lot. What I've tried to do lately is, I take a lot of pictures, right? And so, I try to use it as it was designed. Instagram, like you're supposed to kind of post like, you know, what you just kind of sort of did.
yeah,
So for me, I'll take a bunch of pictures and like I'll just do 3 pictures, boom, 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 like within 5 minutes of each other, and then kind of take a breather, right? And then
yeah.
maybe come back a little bit later and then start looking through the feed and seeing what else is going on and comment and engage and like. But I feel you. It's one of them things where you can get sucked in, you can go down that rabbit hole, you
Yeah.
know.
It
Yeah,
can become like a coping mechanism. Even like for me, if I don't want to feel whatever's going on
yeah,
internally, I can just, you know,
yeah.
zone out on that.
You
But
watch the Social Dilemma, yeah?
yeah, dude. Yeah.
That's
You watch
crazy.
that and it makes you just like, what
Yeah,
am I doing, dude?
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Not to mention they're like profiting off of our data and all that stuff. It's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, I remember like in the MySpace days, in the early days, you would go onto your computer to go onto social media, and
yeah,
it'd be like maybe like an hour,
yeah,
one sitting.
yeah.
So I don't know. It's become like we're like so intertwined with the electronics now. It's kind of
Yeah, I think
crazy.
it's a matter of being clear with the purpose. What's the purpose? What are you attempting to get out of it or give to it, and trying to
Mm,
stay true with the purpose. And for me, it's like it's a half and half. I try to share as much as I can without getting overboard, and
yeah.
I try to go in and engage as much as possible without
Right.
going overboard. I mean, there's nothing more that I like personally than going and hitting your account and everybody who asks questions. Like I hit those accounts and I love their pictures and their stories and their comments. And some of the stuff is hilarious stuff. And then the stories people put up like that, like it's fascinating and funny and engaging and
There's
you
definitely a
know
fulfilling aspect of it as well,
yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's an amazing tool for
And
sure.
there's probably some of that, FOMO or, fear of missing out, right? What am I
Mm,
missing? Or,
mm.
oh, I've been away for an hour, I must have missed something. There's a lot. I mean, it's so real time. There's so much going on that, the anxiety, I think it can grab you.
Right. Right. So will you be at the inner city show?
100%.
What
Yeah.
days?
I'm gonna go Friday. I'll be there early. I'm on the fence, maybe not on the fence, but I was gonna bring a couple of plants. I got a couple of really nice euphorbias, bigger, older specimens that I think, really, I'd like to get out there and show these things. So I'm thinking
Mm,
about doing that. But
awesome.
members get in at 7:30 a.m. Public
Hmm.
gets in at 9. So I'll probably be there at 6.
Very cool. Have
Yeah.
you done, is that something you've done before? Entered
Yeah,
in?
inner
Yeah.
city's free. Yeah, it's awesome. So the sale itself is fantastic. The show itself is even more fantastic. The quantity of show plants is like mind blowing. But last year we didn't have it. The year before that, I didn't have the relationships or I didn't have
Mm,
the feelers as much as I do now. So like
mm.
for me, like I can't freaking wait to get there with a Crazy4Cactus shirt and just see everybody. I mean, like there's dozens and dozens and dozens of people that I hope to run into and
Mm.
bring my camera and get pictures and like I'm anticipating a freaking amazing event.
Yeah, I spoke to some people that are coming from out of state, which is
Yeah.
amazing. Like, are you going? It's the only reason why I went. I'm going. I bought tickets for my kids and for me and my girlfriend. After somebody reached out, was like, "Hey, I'm coming to the show. I'd really like to
Yeah.
meet you from
There was
another
an
state."
article I saw at the LA Times plants thing or whatever. Said it was like what do they call it? They call it the cactus and succulent fair. Like the way they described it was like
Mm,
it's the biggest cactus and succulent thing ever. Like don't miss it kind
I
of thing.
realize that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
see that now. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll be there Saturday. I'm not sure what time. How does that work though? The show and the sale, are they on separate ground, like separate spaces?
They're super close to each other. So if they set it up the way that they did last time, The
Mm-hmm.
sale is outside, and the
Mm-hmm.
show is just right over there inside a building.
Mm.
And so my understanding is Friday is just the sale, and
Mm.
then Saturday is sale and show. I
Okay.
don't think I'm pretty sure they're not doing the show on Friday.
Okay.
But I think, are you more interested in getting in there and getting the great plants that are for sale? Are you more interested in waiting to the second day, getting into the sale and the show? I mean, either day is going to be great. I'm going to really try, see if I can squeeze it in to do Friday and Saturday. I think it would be
Okay.
great. Spend a couple hours each day would be awesome.
Yeah, this is totally something new to me. It'll be the first time I've ever gone to
Yeah.
something like this. So I'm really psyched. And I got both my kids that day. My
Yeah.
boy falls on one of my visits with my son. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I definitely will take some plants home, but I've been really also cutting back on the purchasing of plants. But yeah, I'm excited to see some of these show specimens, these showstoppers.
Oh, it's crazy. If you look back at they have the inner city show Instagram. If you look, they've been posting a lot of these past year.
Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous, man. Like some of the stuff is like so well grown and so old, 20, 30-year-old specimens. It's like the care, the ongoing care and effort that it's taken to get some of these things to where they're at is like mind blowing.
Hmm.
You know?
And this is multiple cities, clubs,
Yeah.
Cactus Club,
I,
Cactus
I
and
think
Succulents
I think
clubs.
people are coming down from up north, up south. Like,
So it's
yeah,
not
it's
just LA. It's
not
like
just LA.
multiple counties.
Yeah,
It's multi-state.
yeah, yeah. What
Righteous,
I was
man.
thinking of doing was maybe like a week before the show, which and we're getting close, is to kind of start doing some posts about, hey, if you're at the show on Friday, let's meet at this place at 10 a.m. for a group photo, or
Yeah.
Saturday. If you're going to the show and you're going to be there between, 10 and 2, meet at the Yoda statue, or whatever. Meet,
Right.
meet somewhere and let's get as many people on Instagram together
Yeah.
and get a kind of I'm going to try to see if I can coordinate that. It'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. And that's something that I was hoping to we've been talking about it, like different people have come on and talked about like scheduling meets. I know you guys meet up all the time. I see you guys all the time, but like having some kind of meets for the community,
Yeah.
maybe even for some of the newer members or, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Green Touch is doing some cool thing. I saw he posted
There's a
something the other day.
sunset thing.
A sunset thing. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. And then Mellowist, if you've been down there, that place is absolutely amazing. And he does DJ and Jessica do such a great job, getting different vendors. Very
Yeah.
good. Troy was down there a week or two ago. I think Automata is going to be there this weekend. Like,
Yeah.
just great stuff. They got food and, you know, every time I go, there's always, new people and different. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to talk to them. I've been meaning to actually reach out to them. I would love to
That would be a great
interview
interview.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
few people on my radar that I need to reach out to. I'm hoping to see Kitoy on Saturday because he's got a pot for me.
Really?
Yeah, I got a little pot for a plant that I bought from Mikey the other
Nice.
day.
Yeah. That guy's amazing. What a freaking true artist that guy is.
Man, yeah.
Yeah. Solid guy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Cool, man. Thank you so much for doing this, Kevin.
Yeah. So what do you think about the sequel? We do okay?
I think we did great. I'm feeling much better about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
good. Yeah. I appreciate the opportunity. This is fun. You're doing God's work, man. I know you started with an idea. I mean, you've made it, man. You've realized that you've got a catalog of fantastic interviews, and I think people are getting so much out of it. They're hearing spiritual sides, and you talked about politics a little bit and plants, and like you're touching on all the important things, and it's good. So
Thank you very much for saying that. I appreciate
yeah,
that. We've
yeah,
come a long way since
yeah,
the last time I spoke to you because I think you were like number 4.
yeah,
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 dude, you were number 4, and I'm hoping to get back to all those guys. Like I'm gonna do Will and Vic in person in
yeah,
August together, and I'd like to talk to Troy again.
yeah.
But yeah, man,
I
it's
was thinking
crazy.
about something earlier. So there's this group that I attended way back. It's called Regional Leadership Forum, and it's like a leadership thing, and it was an 8-week kind of course. We would go for a couple of days a week for a while, and when we would come back, the guy that was leading the meetings would say, "What has become clear since we last met?"
Mm,
And so I was thinking about that as we were getting ready to talk. I was like thinking, all right, what has become clear? What's been going on since we last met? And so you just brought that up. It's like you've got this, life is happening and things are changing. And where are you at now? What are you doing? So, I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, it's cool to look back and to see, because where I was, you saw me. I was really struggling. I had some moments where I would full on disassociated in our last episode, and it's been happening a lot less often now, and been less anxious, and really hit my groove. I feel like I have like some momentum going. Here we are. This is 32, I think. Episode 32 is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Can't believe it. But yeah, like I said, I'm slowing down a little bit. But thank you so much. I appreciate you coming
Yeah, man.
back. I appreciate your time from the last time. And I doubt this will be the last time we do this, man. Maybe,
Definitely.
maybe in person one day.
I would love that, man.
Yeah.
Come do it in my place.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you'd be
Yeah.
open to that, I would love that. I'm
I
totally mobile.
absolutely come down, meet the family, meet my dog Steve, and we'll hang out.
Rad. Yeah, I'm mobile, dude. We'll do it one day.
We'll send you home with a Euphorbia.
Hey, it'll be like my third one probably
Yeah.
ever.
I don't know, man. You come over here, you might become a fan. You
I
might.
bet. No, I know.
Yeah,
It's just, yeah, too many things have my focus.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. All right, dude.
All right, man. Bless you.
Yes, you as well. If everybody
All
could
right.
please like, review, and subscribe to the podcast and hit the share button, that helps me. Thank you so much.